This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. Buckle up, motherfucker.
Wow, man. What do you want? What in the fuck could you possibly want from me?
Everything.
There's a real podcast in town now, motherfucker.
Okay. Yeah.
You've been using my material long enough. What?
Well, welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. The greatest of all time.
You want to talk about me, you and me and Cue Ball?
So,
right?
Rick, do you have any stories about, I don't know, massage parlors in remote areas or something like that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, we drove 30 miles out of Cheyenne. The motherfuckers were my age. They felt good.
Oh my gosh, we love you. We love having you on the show. We're talking about all things 1986 this week, Rick, and we've had a few other guests on today, but of course you're the main event, just like you were every single night in 1986. And next week we're going to be watching Starrcade 86, where it was you and Nikita Koloff in the main event.
Yeah.
And I think it's been said for a long time, the original plan was it was supposed to be you and Magnum, but of course the tragic accident happened. They made a pivot to Nikita. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming, but boy, did it work. What do you remember about all that?
Oh, I can remember that, Tony, I don't know if you were in the dressing room or not. We did the switch in Charlotte.
Right.
Where we turned Nikita that night. We were in Charlotte, so the reaction was huge, but, yeah, I mean, Nick, never going to be one of the greatest workers of all time, but he lived his gimmick and it was good, and he got over, and that's all that matters. You know what I mean? But he, Tony, the story. He didn't cash a check for 3 years, so that's why he's comfortable today, I guess. But he, he'd go into the gym, he wouldn't talk English or anything. It was great, but he, I like him a lot. I actually hope he'd stay in the business. I think, Tony, you remember I encouraged him to come back to WCW.
Right.
And I proposed that they make him the world champion if he came back in, but he didn't want to do it. So
right.
He got on I guess, with the religious kick that he just didn't want to be part of the business anymore, which has happened to a few people. So anyway, I've always liked Nick. He worked hard. He was, he limited in terms of skill, but at the same time, he was like Luger, thrown into a situation he wasn't ready for. I mean, he was wrestling me for hour draw matches and all that. He wasn't ready for that.
Right.
So they probably weren't the best to watch, but we got through them because it was over so good.
In that era, Rick, Vince McMahon was looking for a heel factory for Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
It felt like, as jacked as Nikita was and the whole Cold War thing with America and Russia, are you surprised that Vince never made a play for Nikita, or that Nikita never made the leap?
I don't know that he didn't make a play for him. I don't know the extent of it, but he's I saw him at Joe's funeral, Road Warrior Animal's funeral, and when I saw him, he's a good guy. He always has been.
Yeah.
Probably a little misunderstood. But some of the greatest times we ever had were him and an Iron Jousting with Luger and that on the airplane ride.
Yeah.
Iron called him Cue Ball.
I know. He called Nikita Cue Ball, and he called Luger Eggplant.
Eggplant.
Yep.
That's how to go, Luger. If he had his chompers, he could make 2 pearl handle revolvers bigger than Patton's.
Hey, Rick, one thing you could say about Nikita, though, back during that era, he really lived the gimmick, didn't he? I mean, he was.
Oh God, I'm telling you, you had to be there. You walk around the gym and talk to anybody.
Yeah.
No, it was great. He lived his gimmick, and you know, but you know, inside he was a real conservative guy. You know, he never, you know, I already had words with him one time because he was kind of bullying Cornette one time. I just said, hey, come on, what the fuck? You know, because Jim can make everybody mad at one time or another. But no, I never thought. I thought he was great and fun to work with, and God only knows when he was with the Road Warriors or with Sting, we had those war games. I mean, like it was stuff you'll never see the likes of again in the business. It was that good. The chemistry was that good. Everybody worked that hard, and it was a lot of fun. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll always speak very highly of him.
Let's talk a little bit about 1986. That's the year where the Great American Bash Tour really leveled up. It was a 13-city tour. You had a bunch of musical acts. You had a bunch of stadium shows. But there were no shows bigger in the history of Jim Crockett Promotions that I can see than that special night in the stadium where you took on Ricky Morton in a cage in the main event. You arrived by helicopter. There's 23,000 fans there, and you're wrestling a tag guy. I mean, that says a lot about where the Rock and Roll Express were with the fans. But what do you remember about that night in particular?
Oh, it's great. Ricky Morton is never going to get the credit he deserves. Ricky was the Shawn Michaels of the Rockers. Robert was a good performer. Ricky was great. Big difference between good and great. And I loved working with him. We wrestled 1 week, and Tony knows this. I wrestled him an hour on Monday, an hour Tuesday, an hour after TV. I wrestled him an hour up in Wilson, the ballpark. I wrestled him Thursday for an hour, Friday for an hour, Saturday 2 hours, and Sunday 2 hours.
All right.
In double shots. That's a lot of time in the ring together. That was just 1 week. So, but he had no problem, man. He could smoke, drink all night long, and he could get in the ring and go. And what a great guy. I mean, I have so much respect for him.
1986 was also the year of Baby Doll. It felt like you guys had a lot of fun with some of those silly promos where you got to go over the top. How fun was it to have Baby Doll in the middle of you and Dusty and the Horsemen? You guys created magic there in 1986.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, she fit right in. I had met her in Dallas. They called her Nicole or something like that. She was managing, I think, Chris Adams out in Dallas, in that territory. And I just called Jimmy and I said, this chick would be great. And, you know, that's how it connected. That's kind of what I did. As I traveled to the other territories, I recruited for Crockett Promotions. Just like tonight, I went down to the fucking baseball park and said, listen, Jimmy, this Fred Miller needs to go. There's a kid down here calling balls and strikes and needs to be fucking running a TV show for you.
and here we are today, right?
Yeah, true story.
Yeah, I know.
Boy, that Tom Miller was mad as fuck. I said, you got to get rid of these old motherfuckers and get this handsome dude down here. You know, and then from there on, I can remember one time Tony and I were sitting there. They were fucking arguing about everything. And I said, Tony, let's just run up the highway. We went up 85 about a half a mile and got a fucking hand job at a joint right there on 85. But going back to center stage and did business.
Oh my gosh.
Promise me you'll leave that in.
Absolutely, we will.
You are so full of shit. You are.
Oh, yeah, I'm full of shit. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Nobody. Hey, how about the night in St. Louis when you caught me when I gigged myself with that chick pussy?
we have come off
the door. I opened the door. I was covered in blood. Tony was horrified. He said, "You didn't get cut in the match under, did you?" And then he walked in and saw the chick on the bed. Looked like when he had Custer's last stand.
You know, of all Jesus, listen, of all the stuff that you did on TV, all the great matches you had, and I was a part of all that stuff as not only TV announcer, did a lot of ring announcing, as you know. To me, what I remember better and more than anything else is you and Precious and making out with the mannequin and getting knocked out by Ronnie Garvin dressed as a girl.
Yeah.
That had to be a lot of fun. That whole thing.
It was. I mean, and this is the genius of Dusty. The mannequin was my idea, and when Barnett said, "Oh my God, we're going to lose TV," he's making out with a mannequin. But oh God, I had a great time with Jimmy and Patty, and then of course the stuff with Ronnie. I really liked working with Ronnie Garvin. The problem is he was a Southern guy and didn't work. Detroit and Chicago, they didn't buy him, and that's
right.
Those are the things that hold you up in the long run. But in the South, we had a hell of a run, Ronnie and I did. Man, we beat them. I mean, anybody that saw one of those matches, for it all, man, it was brutal.
Well, yeah.
I just lathered my chest with fucking Neosporin for fucking 6 months.
Yeah.
That's all I could do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
But he didn't mind me hitting him either. So, it was good. So, once again, not a classic match, but Ronnie was tagged with Dusty. On a card that was surrounded with a lot of, the guys, which we were so talent deep. It's insane. We had so much talent. Ronnie got over and they bought him as being tough. I thought he was great.
We're talking about 86, and this is the first year that we see Starrcade sort of split. Previously 83, 84, 85, it was all about Greensboro. But now in 86, we're going to try two towns. Half the show is in Greensboro. The other half is in Atlanta. You're going on last for the world title, and you're in the Omni.
Let me go on record and say that's the worst thing they ever did, because Greensboro never forgave Crockett for doing that. Would you agree, Tony?
Oh, yeah. It was great. Starrcade was Greensboro's. That they owned that, and the fans felt that.
It never should have left.
Yeah.
It never came back. It's just like when they beat us, the NWO beat us at the War Games in Winston-Salem, we never drew a dime again.
Right.
Yep. I mean, there's some things in tradition you're not going to, the Cubs aren't going to move out of Wrigley Stadium. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's just one of the things. But that's what Dusty again. I'll give Dusty credit for a lot of things, but he always wanted to try and do something bigger than what got us to the dance. And so it's only like you were there with me and Harley when Harley was in a snowstorm and all of us didn't get there, and then we find out that he's been in New York with Vince.
Right. Yeah, Greensboro was the place, Rick. Listen, I go back to Greensboro, my fandom. I go back to you and Blackjack Mulligan in Greensboro. I go back to you and Wahoo McDaniel in Greensboro. You and Greg Valentine as World Tag Team Champions in Greensboro. I remember all that as a fan. So this was really the Mecca. I mean, I know they.
No, I heard. I said, did you hear what I said about Harley Race?
Yeah, I did. Right.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big deal, man. We the first time they'd gone, what do you call it? When you put in all those different talents, we had a damn snowstorm in the South. It was brutal.
Right.
So, it just was a great time of life. But it's easy to look back and say, but man, if they had just stayed east of the Mississippi, just please, you know what I mean? Because we were rocking and rolling. But that California, we hit it big the first time out, but it got smaller and smaller every time. So then Dave Johnson had a nervous breakdown, and I had to. That hurt.
Boy, I don't know what I expected today, but I'm looking forward to more of it. The rumor and innuendo is, Rick, you've got a new podcast with Mark Madden. It drops today as everyone is hearing What Happened When on Wednesday. I think it's called Ric Flair's Woo Nation Uncensored. What should people expect with a new Ric Flair podcast?
I'm not tied to anybody. really not there to hurt anybody's feelings, but the first time that Conrad and I went around with this, I just wasn't comfortable. You know, it's like Conrad remembers as vividly as me. I said Finn Balor is a great, but he'll never main event WrestleMania. And here we are 10 years later. He hasn't been. I mean, people don't want to hear the truth. This time they're going to hear the truth.
Well, this is just a sample of what you're going to get on the Woo Nation Uncensored.
Oh, yeah. We talked about me and Piper at the whorehouse in San Domingo, thinking we were never going to live again.
Okay. Tell you what we'll do. We'll save that story for your podcast,
yes,
okay?
Can you, it's Ric Flair. Can you open the gate, please? Yes, in 1902, Ric Flair. FAMOUS. Bye, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Man.
Love you.
Bye.
Tony, we saved the best for last, but my goodness.
He's something else, isn't he?
Dude, there's nobody like the Nature Boy. And I mean, he just answered the phone in the right kind of mood. He's one of us. He likes to bust balls.
Yeah, he does.
He wants to talk some trash. And
yeah.
I wish him and Mark Madden the best, man. This is the first time he's doing a podcast, or we're podcasting apart. So we'll keep an eye on Woo Nation. And I feel like, the internet and the websites that cover everything we say on the pods, they're going to have a field day with that show. It certainly seems.
I believe so. He keeps up with what's going on. He keeps up with the quote unquote dirt in the business, I guess, if you can call it that. You know, he was just saying things that I was unaware of. So anyway, that I stay away from anyway. So
you got to get excited about saving people all those dollars. They can limousine ride and jet fly now with that extra cash.
And they can style and profile with a quick 10-minute phone call right now to 425-0105.
That's 425-0105. Woo!
SaveWithConrad.com.
Tony, I can't believe this is real, but we've reached the end. It's about that time. We're going to be back next week with a very special edition of What Happened When. It is indeed our Thanksgiving tradition. We're going to be watching Starrcade 1986, and we've got a very special guest. Mr. David Crockett will be returning. So don't go watch the show without us. Let us entertain you while mama's cooking or you're trying to annoy the in-laws or what have you. Turn down that volume, crank up that network, and listen to David Crockett and Tony Schiavone do their thing as only they can next week. This is going to be great, Tony.
It's been great. 86 has been wonderful to be able to follow. And after we move through Starrcade, we're going to get ready now for the Bunkhouse Stampedes, as we know, if you remember 86. But I can't wait to reconnect with David next week. And Conrad, we've had a blast today, haven't we?
I don't know the word to describe it, but we'll go with blast. But unfortunately, right now, it looks like it's about that time.
Ladies and gentlemen, and like Ric Flair's brain, we are desperately out of time. See you next week on What Happened When. We come to you Wednesdays on Cumulus, but Mondays exclusively on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. And of course, adfreeshows.com. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.